Good morning everyone, Green Cricket here with another deck guide. This time not my own deck, but one deck of one of my teammates. His name is Damorquis and he wrote a very detailed guide on Gwent. So if you want to really go into the meat of Consume, check out the link in the description. I'm trying to keep this a bit shorter, but in addition I'll also show some gameplay, because I really think it's also important to actually watch someone actually play this deck to learn, and not just reading on it. So what you should probably do is check out the guide, check out the video, and then you should know everything about Consume, so to say, or this Consume deck in particular. I'm going to start with some explanation of the cards then I'm quickly going into the Mulligan, and then I'll show you what you're going to do or how you should play against each matchup. You know, do you play against Straightaway, do you play against X-Men, what should you do differently? So, and afterwards, the last section of the guide is then the show match, where I'm just showing you a game from my stream, where well, you can see how I win with this deck. And so let's head into the first part, where we quickly check over the cards. The most important card is the Necker. You wanna place this on the board and try to use all your Necker warriors because Necker warrior always choose a bronze ally and adds 2 copies of it to your deck. So if you play Necker and play 3 Necker warriors onto the Necker, we get 6 additional Neckers into our deck. And the good thing about Neckers is every time we consume a card, Neckers grow by 1. So that means if you have let's say 8 Neckers in your deck, you use 1 consume, you get actually 8 points for each consume as a carryover, so to say. So as I said, we want to play Neckers, we want to play Necker warriors onto them, and then we're trying to Forktail and Van warrior as much as possible to buff up the Neckers for a decent run 3. Slicers are in the deck to access our cards, to access a Van warrior when we need it, to access a Necker warrior in round 1. And this also thins our deck, which is very important because in the last round we want to have access to our gold cards. Especially Brewer's Ritual. Brewer's Ritual is our #1 finisher in round 3. You place Brewer's Ritual, you can resurrect 2 Brand's Deathwish units, which is in our case 2 Neckers. And then you can start, consume the Neckers and pull all the Neckers out of the deck. Another gold card which is very cool is Phoenix, because if you don't have Brewers, for example, we can with Phoenix at least pull 1 Necker out of the deck. If not, we can, for example, pull Slicer, and with the Slicer we can pull, I don't know, anything else like a Van Warrior or a Forktail. But the good thing is, Forktails and Van Warriors are Draconids as well, so basically Phoenix is able to pull out all our cards from the deck if you want to. Whispered Tribute is another access card, which basically accesses our organic cards. We have 2 of them in the deck. One is Monster Nest, and the other one is Mandrake. Monster Nest is, let's quickly, what do I do here? Let me quickly add it again to the deck, and Monster, there we go. So let's see what it does. What we want to get from Monster Nest is, oh come on, there we go. Argus Behemoth. With Argus Behemoth, this will, every time we consume a unit, it actually spawns 3 power tokens, which can give us some tempo. It does it 4 times in total. We want to use the Baba Gazi from time to time, especially if we lose round 1, and we want to, prevent the opponent from dry passing us in round 2. We use Baba Gazi for the carryover, and the good thing is it consumes something, so all our Neckers in the deck will get boosted as well, which can give us another decent points for carryover. And then we have the Ghoul. Sometimes it's interesting in round 3 to actually play Ghoul. You consume a Necker warrior, it's another consume triggers for Neckers, and this will give you some decent value as well. Mandrake is a more tricky card. You want to keep that for high units like an enemy Ren warrior or an enemy buffed up brigade for some decent value. Or we also can use it, for example, if the enemy plays a Margarita. You use Mandrake to banish the Margarita from the board, so if the enemy uses a Shani, he can't get Margarita on your board in round 3, which saves us tons of points. Then we have Royal Decree, which just is another access cards for our gold cards. As we see, we want to be as consistent as possible. That's why we have a lot of access cards in the deck. And Shadow is the next access card, which basically plays a bronze Deathwish unit from our deck. We only have Neckers as Deathwish unit, so this will always play a Necker. Normally you try to have Shadow in round 1 to get additional power, because if you just put a 4-point Necker on the board, that's not really some tempo, so with Shadow you can at least get 8 power on the board. Azus Double Cross is an access card for our Neckar Warrior. Marching Order is an access card for our Slizzard. And then we have Summoning Circle. Summoning Circle can be really great if you, for example, play Neckar Warrior. The enemy plays a spell, a leader, or gold card, and then you can play Summoning Circle to get another Neckar Warrior out, which gives you 2 more Neckars in the deck, which is amazing because you can generate so much more power with that. Like if you get like a 4th Neckar Warrior, this nearly almost wins you the game. So try to look out for that, but beware, like, because Summoning Circle copies the last unit on the board. It means if you have like an Argus Behemoth on the deck and it ticks an Argus Hatchling, it will get the Argus Hatchling. And if like Coral like transforms a unit into an artifact compression, you will actually get the artifact instead of your Neckar Warrior. Summoning Circle can also be useful to bounce back spies, so this is actually a pretty valuable card in the game. Then let's head to the Mulligan, because the Mulligan is one of the more tricky things in this deck, because you always want to have at least 1 Neckar. Depending on the matchup, you want to have 2 Neckars. If you have a Shadow, you don't need to keep your Neckars, because Shadow of course pulls a Neckar for you. What you want to have though is, you want to have a way to access all your Neckar Warriors. Either you play them from hand, you can use Azus Double Cross to access them. If you don't have those, what you want to do is you want to play a Neckar Warrior, you want to play Forktail or Ren Warrior onto the Neckar Warrior so it gets consumed and put on the graveyard, and then you use Slizzard to access the rest of them. So that would be the idea. Also, like if you use Slizzard, that's a good way to thin your deck early so you can have better access to your gold cards in the later rounds. And then I would say let's head to the matchup sections and let's begin. Dwarves. This is probably the best matchup, because they can't deal with your Neckars. Don't use Mandrake in this matchup or you risk that it will be used against you with an enemy Glaze. Push in round 1 and already consume some Neckars. There's a big chance that your enemy has dead cards like Glaze, Hattori or Pauli. To assure the dead Glaze, don't play that Monster Nest until Glaze is put on the board. Oh, and last tip, when consuming, try to stack units in a way that your with Meditation does not generate a lot of points. Nilfgaard Spies. Don't start with Neckars, because Imperial Enforcers will make quick work of them. Start with Monster Nest into Arachis Behemoth and consume a bit before you play your Neckars. 7 point is optimal, but 5 point Neckars are okay as well. Additional quick hints in this matchup: don't eat enemy assassins or you risk that your enemy resurrects them with a Vikavara Medic and finishes off your Rain Warriors. Eat as much spice as possible to deny value on Enforcers or Brigades, and also to deny a good mana target. Mandrake may save you from an early Enforcer, or it will provide a big value swing on Brigades. Also watch out for Isaiah, because she can deny your Slicer targets by putting them back into your deck. Alchemy. Always consume big units with Ren Warrior, or the Viper Witches will one-shot them. Try to eat 6 points or higher to prevent that. Alchemy also typically runs Swears, so keep a Neckar Warrior and pull out Neckars early so they generate points while on the board instead of landing in your graveyard. Keep Mandrake and hit Calvate with it so Kahir becomes a 1-point card. Mirror Match. This really depends on your draws, but here are some general guidelines. Utilize Summoning Circle to get another Neckar Warrior. Keep Mandrake for last round to finish off a high point Ren Warrior because of points, and it will also be banished, so with a bit of luck the enemy can't pull another one with a Slizzard. Consider your Monster Nest options. If there are 5 Neckars left in your deck or hand, then a Ghoul will generate more points than Arachis Behemoth. Armor Redovit or Sirinova Redovit. Here we push as long as we can, potentially until the very last card, so we can rid our enemy of gold cards and Redovit, because they are very dangerous in round 3. Use Mandrake in round 1 to generate a ton of value on buffed up units, or to banish an enemy Margarita, so she's not resurrected by Shani in round 3. If Redovit is still up in round 3, try to have additional access to your Neckars on top of Brewers like Slizzard, Phoenix or Neckar. Henselt. Try not to get your Neckars killed by battering rams. Again, it's best to do some consuming so your Neckars are higher when you put them onto the board. Try to bait Scourge effects in round 1 and try to avoid big Scourge targets on your side. In this matchup, actually, play round 2 to push and pull out his Villain Treadmouth if he has one. We, on the other hand, keep 2 cards for a Neckar Wombo combo in round 3. And last but not least, don't play into Vandergrift, so be careful where you position your Brewers. Nova Skellige. Keep 2 Neckars in your starting hand so you're not disabled by Call. And do not use Summoning Circle after Call was played, or you will get another artifact on your board. Push round 1 as long as possible, your enemy have dead resurrects in his hand. X-Men. Play the game as usual, keep Forktails so you can eat units out of weather, and always keep Mandrake to banish his Darren. This is a good point swing and disables the second use of him in round 3. However, do not immediately play Mandrake after Darren was played, or your enemy may Summoning Circle it again. Think of keeping Monster Nest into a Drowner in round 3. This enables you to pull X-Men out of a row where your enemy wants to put Herald into. Aridin. Roast Duck in Frost and use Sliced or tokens to avoid frost damage on your Neckers. Be aware of Succubus and keep Mandrake because Succubus is your big loose condition here. Another option is to use Forktails and eat big units out of the row where Succubus was placed. Don't try to win round 1 with all means, get the weather out and pass if you would need to go 3 cuts down. And now let's head into a game and see how this deck actually plays out. Filavandrel. I have not seen any games played against this leader. Not one. Okay, now we have Monster Nest, like, let's not forget this. We have 2 Neckers is good, like, if you artifact compresses. We don't have a Necker Warrior, which is a problem. Whew. Whew. Good thing about this is that it's blacklists, like, very decently, so... We don't care too much about the Hawker Smuggler. We don't care about round 1. Actually, not at all. So let's see. Summoning Circle would have been probably good if he's trying to kill stuff here. Which he doesn't. He actually kills it, but like that's okay. So, let's pull another Necker Warrior out. Maybe, but... Yeah, maybe. I don't know, like if there's a better package, but currently I feel pretty comfortable with this package, so to say. So I'm playing this.
Only death here for Dwan.
So let's see.
Never had your kneecaps broken.
Why always all people hitting my poor Neckers when they're small? Let's avenge them when they're big. Okay, this can both pull me a Necker Warrior. Bam, bam, bam. What comes out of this runestone? Horn, okay. Well, that's decent.
I've never run from no one.
Let's hope he has a second one. Then he can't res his Poly. His Barclay. I mean, what we do is here, get another Necker Warrior out. Now we have like 4 Neckers. Still not enough. We need another Necker Warrior. Squatch is our biggest enemy in this game. This is actually better. By the way, this is a good Mandrake target, for example. Like, if this grows bigger and we want to have a tempo swing, we just Mandrake this one. So let's see. Oh, this is actually decent because it will eat my, you know. And, I mean, I can't play another, like, this disabled my Necker Warrior, but the good thing is, I can still Forktail it. So, that's fine. Also, what I'm thinking here is, before I, like, do anything here, I'm setting up my Labagazi. So... and we can still play a Slice at next round. And we can always make this. We just play like Whispers into Mandrake and like the Elven Hawker Smuggler is dead, and that's the point swing we need, so that's fine. Okay, I'm interested. Scourge! You bastard! You bastard, you! That's just not nice. At least he doesn't have Ifne to actually play second Scourge, but like maybe he has Shrew or something in deck, which would be a problem. Let's see.
You'll be fine.
What does he have? My Monster Nest? Does he want my Babagazi? Like that's A Drowner, okay. Oh, that's not nice. Okay. So, I guess we want to pull out Neckers. Let's see. Necker, Necker, Necker. Yeah, okay, it's still enough. Like, we can still make the point swing with Mandrake. So that's decent. Worst case, we pull actually another Necker into the Friend Warrior. But that's worst case. Maybe we actually just play Arachas Queen. Just for consume triggers.
No mercy!
Because he really wants to win round 1. Okay, 47 points. Should we just pull out another Necker? Now we have 4 Neckers for last round. It's still enough, especially if we go down cards. We don't have Brewers currently in our hands, and that's a bit of a shaky situation, so to say. We probably should have kept the Necker, if I'm totally honest. But we can still slice at a Necker. So this can still pull as a Necker, so everything is fine. Yeah, actually, have you seen, like, have you played a match against Philavanthrel? This is my first match against Philavanthrel since the update came out. Like, you need to think of this. And actually, that's the top player. Like, this is like 141 player, so... 0, yeah, I guess. I mean, Iced was a bit popular, like, with veterans, but since they, like, took the veterans away from him, I've not seen Iced played after that. And Usurper, Usurper, I'm a fan, big fan actually. Oh, he's really getting on my nerves now. So let's pull a Ran Warrior here. Let's get the Necker out. I guess we now need to think of what we do. I guess if you like pulls out now, we're gonna leader. Yeah, there we go. Okay, like we don't want to play Mandrake, I guess. Like Mandrake is what? Not enough. Oh, but actually like it will consume another Necker. So this is like another Necker is what? 11 kinda? Let's just estimate like it's 11. Let's say 12. 11, let's say 11. And then we're at 26. So that's enough.
A word once given, we never...
So we reset the Open Smuggler. This pulls the Necker out, and we're fine. 11. What did I say? I know my Neckers. Okay. Well, Harald is good like in X-Men, but that's it. Summoning Circle. This is like, I don't know. Also like Ran Warrior. This gives me a Necker. This is good. Okay, like I can access a Necker now. Now that I can access a Necker, I can eat at least one Necker.
Your bet will avenge us, Dwan.
Can I please have Royal Decree or Ritual, like one of those? Like, that would be awesome. I mean, Ran Warrior is actually also okay, I guess. But, like, yeah, give me those. Okay, well, let's get rid of Summoning Circle. Ooh, Ooga Chaka. Ooga Chaka. This is good.
Got business for me?
There you go. Necker 1, Necker 2. Choop, choop, choop. So we have 3 Neckers to pull out, right? So I actually can place it here. And we get 1 with ADC, actually.
Scoia'tael! Attack!
So there we go. And we have last card, so we don't run into like better Scourge if we play Arax Queen. This is also good. Okay, let's see like if what he has in there. Is it a Syria deck? I didn't even see. Looks like this looks really interesting. Looks like a Syria deck.
Have strength, my love.
So I guess this will be Syria. We'll see in a second. We've only played X-Men? I've played X-Men last season and I nearly made it to Grandmaster, but... that's actually decent because now we can pull the Necker in front of the Ran Warrior. We don't even need to do that.
Ho,
There you
ho,
go.
I sense trouble.
So we have 2 more neckers, like 1 more necker, I guess. Right? Yeah, 1 necker. So... Oh, I should have... Why doesn't matter, actually. Where's my necker? There's my necker. There we go. Another win. Again, if you want to have an in-depth look on the deck, check out the Gwent link down in the description. It's the guide from Damorquis, who is the original owner of the deck. Tell me what you think down in the comments, and if this is your first time here, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel and join our little cricket community. See you in game.